The call came at 6:12 a.m., just as dawn was breaking through the blinds of my apartment. My Uncle Robert had passed away in his sleep, peacefully, they said. He was the kind of man who lived quietly, worked meticulously, and never wasted words. We weren't especially close, but he'd always told me, land outlasts people. Remember that. At the time, I thought it was just one of his old man sayings. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, I sat in a mahogany-paneled law office while an attorney slid a thick folder across the desk. Inside were deeds, plats, surveys, and a will that looked like it had been revised 100 times over decades. You are the sole heir, the attorney said calmly. 1,012 acres. Undivided. Free and clear. I blinked. That's not possible. Uncle Rob lived in a cabin and drove a 20-year-old truck. The attorney smiled faintly. He also never sold land. Ever. That's when I noticed the map. A sprawling master-planned community. Tree-lined streets, luxury homes, manicured ponds, a clubhouse, and even a private elementary school, sat squarely in the center of the shaded area labeled Robert Ellis Holdings. My stomach tightened. You're telling me, I started. Yes, the attorney finished. The HOA neighborhood known as Silver Ridge Estates was built entirely on easements and access agreements granted decades ago. Agreements that expired last year. I stared at the map, heart pounding. They don't own the land. They own their houses, he said. You own the ground beneath the streets, sidewalks, greenbelts, drainage systems, and common areas. I laughed once, short, disbelieving. No one told them. The attorney closed the folder gently. No, and based on their filings, they believe they own everything. The first knock. I didn't even make it a week before Silver Ridge noticed me. A white SUV with an HOA logo pulled up to my uncle's old cabin, now legally mine. Out stepped a woman in oversized sunglasses, designer boots, and a clipboard clutched like a weapon. She didn't knock. She rapped on the door like she expected obedience. Hello, she called. HOA compliance. I opened the door slowly. Yes, she looked me up and down. I'm Patricia Langley, president of the Silver Ridge Estates Homeowners Association. You're trespassing on HOA property. I raised an eyebrow. Am I? Yes, she said sharply. This land is restricted. No unauthorized structures. No non-resident access. I stepped outside and pointed behind her, toward the miles of pavement, lawns, and luxury homes. You might want to double-check that. Her lips tightened. Excuse me, I inherited this land, I said calmly. All of it. She laughed. Actually laughed. Oh honey, she said. We've been here 20 years. You can't just inherit a neighborhood. I smiled. Tomorrow, I said, your HOA's attorney will explain it to you. Her smile vanished. The letters. Silver Ridge didn't wait until tomorrow. That night, I received 3 emails, a certified letter, and a cease and desist notice claiming I was attempting land theft, fraud, and harassment of an HOA officer. They demanded I vacate their property immediately. Instead, I forwarded everything to my attorney. By morning, they received something else. A formal notice of land ownership. A copy of the original easements, expired. And a warning. All access roads, private streets, and common facilities were being used without authorization. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. I was invited. The clubhouse was packed. 200 homeowners, murmuring angrily. Patricia sat at the front table, flanked by the HOA's lawyer and 3 board members who looked increasingly nervous. When I walked in, the room fell silent. Patricia stood. This man is attempting to extort our community. I held up a folder. This man owns the ground you're standing on. The HOA lawyer cleared his throat. Ms. Langley, he said carefully, the documents appear legitimate. Her head snapped toward him. What do you mean appear? The easements granted by Mr. Ellis allowed development access, the lawyer continued. But they were conditional. Maintenance, fees, and renewal clauses were ignored. I spoke up. For 12 years. The room erupted. So what does he want? Someone shouted. Patricia glared at me. Money. That's what this is about. I shook my head. No, I said. Respect. And compliance. The truth comes out. Over the next hour, the truth unraveled. Silver Ridge's roads. Mine. Their stormwater system. Mine. The entrance gates. Sidewalks, jogging paths, playgrounds, and even the streetlights. Installed on land they never owned. Patricia's face went pale. You can't shut down a neighborhood, she hissed. I met her eyes. Tomorrow, I said evenly, I become the legal operator of every access point. Streets included. The room froze. You wouldn't dare, she said. I leaned closer. Tomorrow, I repeated, you'll learn who owns your streets. The night before, that night, survey crews marked boundaries. Quietly, legally, temporary signage went up at every entrance. Private roadway, access subject to owner permission. I slept better than I had in weeks. Tomorrow, at 6 a.m., the gates didn't open. At 6:30, delivery trucks backed up. At 7 o'clock, commuters realized the RFID access cards no longer worked. By 8 o'clock, police arrived, only to be handed property deeds and court-stamped ownership records. By noon, the HOA attorney resigned. Patricia called me screaming, "You're destroying lives." I replied calmly, "I offered a licensing agreement. You refused." The reckoning. By evening, Silver Ridge had a choice. Sign a long-term land use agreement recognizing my ownership, paying fair access fees, and dissolving Patricia's unchecked authority. Lose access to their own neighborhood infrastructure. The vote was unanimous. Patricia was removed as HOA president before sunset. Epilogue. 6 months later, Silver Ridge still exists, but differently. Transparent finances, legitimate land agreements, no more harassment, no more power trips. As for me, I didn't just inherit land. I inherited leverage, and the HOA learned the hardest lesson of all. You can build houses, but if you don't own the ground beneath them, you never really own anything.